Hi, it's a gorgeous day in Portland, and I'm going to be working in my garden for, I hope, most of the day. And I thought about what I'm working on and what might be of interest to you guys. And this is what I have that I'd like to talk with you about today. One, I understand that a lot of viewers and users are building maybe their first garden, and you are in the process of choosing plants and starting with a empty plot, and you need that your focus is really in choosing plants, not in like choosing between plants. So what I want to do in this video is talk about that other issue. Those of us with established gardens that are in a situation where, a lot of us are in established gardens that are small, right? I'm in a 50 by 100 foot lot in Portland, Oregon, and I have a lot of plants. I have a passion for plants. And yet, there are some plants that I'm done with. And so that can be a little difficult for people to wrap their head around. The fact that if a plant is large and doing well, why in the world would you ever remove it? Well, because I only have so much space, and I'm constantly looking for new plants to grow and to have fun doing it. Now that means that I have to make some decisions that can be kind of difficult, and on the surface you might be thinking, my goodness, how can she do that? So that's what I want to talk with you about today. So I'm going to show you some specific examples of plants that I have removed and why I chose to do that. So stay tuned. So one of the changes was right here, and you can see that I've already done it. There's a big old blank spot there. And what was there is that conifer that is now towards the back, that guy. I moved him, several days ago, dug him from here. And the reason that I did that is it was too close to the path, and it was just really kind of constricting that space more than I wanted. And it was blocking my irrigation head so that it couldn't be as effective. So that was this one is going to be a real nail biter because I love that plant. It's a Chamaecyparis, and unfortunately I can't tell you its exact name for 100% certain because I got it a long time ago. I think it has gold fern in the name. I'm going to try and look that up and add it to this video, but it's a real nail biter because I don't know if it's going to work, but I do know that it wasn't right here. It wasn't, the right plant for right there, and I needed to make a change, and so I'm going to try and save it. And if it doesn't make it, I won't have any regrets because it wasn't right here. In this one, this plant is dormant, so I'm going to get in there so you can kind of see what it is. It's a oak leaf hydrangea. And again, this site is still pretty messy because I'm digging and making a big old mess out here right now. So what I did is there was an oak leaf hydrangea here. I had a Sykes dwarf oak leaf hydrangea, which was very large, very beautiful. And honestly, it was one of the first plants from my garden, so it was quite established. It was a dwarf variety, but it had kind of reached its max size, which means that I was blocked from I couldn't see, this garden because it was being blocked by the plant that's in there. And so I love the oak leaf hydrangea texture next to the other plants that are in here. It's really wonderful with that conifer. So I have put in the exact same thing. So that's a oak leaf hydrangea. It's ruby slippers, which is supposed to be a little smaller. And, actually I was really looking for, Munchkin, which is supposed to be one of the smallest ones. But I had this one, so I put it in. And in some cases, the removals are due to death, destruction, and failure. So I officially have got to give up on trying to grow Japanese maples in my in my garden. I just can't keep them alive for any amount of time. I believe I have verticillin in my soil, and that is this small little maple was Acer palmatum shana, which I dearly, dearly loved, but it just up and just died last fall. So I still need to remove its carcass and then figure out, what I'm going to do back there, which will be super fun. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but that'll be part of the fun of it. And, sometimes plants fail, sometimes they die, and that's just part of gardening. So that happens to me as well. So when it happens to you, just, it's just part and parcel with the process of gardening. Now, if you happen to have something do a sudden death like this, you might want to try and figure out the why, because the fact that I suspect that I have verticillium in there is going to have bearing on what I plant in there. I'm going to want to make sure that I choose a plant that is verticillium resistant. Okay, now we're outside, and you can see I have had my shears and clippers with me, and I'm just in a rip and tear mood. So what have I done here? Well, this isn't going to look like much now, I'll tell you, because I've decided after many years to make a few changes here. So what you're seeing there is kind of a well, it's not a blank slate. There's going to be some things that I'm going to be working around, but the most important change that I made, and again, I put a photo of how this looked, before. But that is, I still need to get that stump out of there. But that is a juniper that was kind of a low and spreading evergreen. And it was juniper Dobbs frosted. I grew it for many years. Matter of fact, since I installed this garden and that woven edge. So it had gotten so large that I couldn't see the woven edge. And I just feel like I can grow more things in that bed. It's one of my few full sun areas. So I decided I would take it out. And I am definitely going to try and keep my bupleurum here. And I prune that every year. And so it looks pretty Charlie Brown, pretty awful right now. But I'm pretty confident that it will fill out just fine. I took more off of it this year than I do many years. And I'm pretty, like I said, I'm pretty confident it'll take that. If it doesn't, I will put another one right back in there as soon as I can find one. They're not always easy to find. But by that, by the time I am clear on whether it's going to shape up again after some severe pruning, then the availability, I should be able to put my hands on one. So this area is going to be reworked. And the biggest change was taking out that large conifer. And so now I can make some changes that, show off the stone, start again with some plants that aren't going to be so big, which is going to allow me to have more fun and grow some different plants. So I'm going to rework basically this area in here. And in the shadow there is a berberis orange rocket. I will probably be keeping that and working around it. And of course the pine there on the corner, I'm going to keep that. That's Pinus coriensis. And I'll put the name on there because it's Pinus coriensis, and it's, can't remember it. And that to the back and right in the middle of the frame right now, that is Cupressus sempervirens totem. So it's an Italian cypress. That I had a conifer here, Cedrus Diodora silver mist, that I took out. And it was not for any reason. I still love that plant, and it was doing well, but I wanted to grow some different things. I also wanted to explore some plants that I just don't have any other place to try them. So I have a callistemon here. That's one of the additions that I made. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to get it so you can see it. See that foliage. And so that's going to be kind of the anchor in there. And so I'm excited to grow something a little different like that. And I added a Halomenicystis. And this is Maris wood cream. And that little juniper. So I am definitely showing you the ugly underbelly of my garden right now. So I hope that you'll take a moment to look at the pictures of how it looks in season, which I will make sure to include here because, oh my goodness, because it really is actually beautiful in season. I hope you'll watch some of the other videos that show my garden in its prime. I hope that this video that showed you some of the changes that I'm doing in my garden helped you feel maybe a little bit more confident about some of the changes that you're contemplating in your own garden.